Hello, lamp fans. This week we're looking at a few things that's going on at the shop and in the basement here in the lamp collection. So we got a new Parker lamp here. This one came out of New York, not so far from Buffalo. I was going to go down and pick it up, but eventually had to pay to get it shipped because the border's been closed all year, and I bought it back in March. So that really kind of completes the trio of Parker lamps that I have. This is a brass finish with the barley twist in oak, and then this is a brass finish one, and this one is a little bit bigger. It's full nickel plate. It's in very good to mint shape. There's a couple little teeny deflections or dings on it that I felt when I polished it by hand, but it's all complete. Has the earlier pull type wick razor. Chimney's not correct. I just put an Aladdin on there because it's fairly close. But it's all there, and this thing would run if I just put kerosene in it. It's a Bradley and Hubbard wick. So that's new this week. Kind of gives me the quartet of banquet lamps as such. But let's go see what's going on in the workshop right now. So we're just gonna take a spin down to the workshop over here and see what I got on the bench that I'm working on. So a couple months back, I was showing that I had this Wanzer lamp. And Wanzer, this Richard Wanzer, was from the States and moved to, I guess it was Hamilton, actually Niagara Falls, I believe, first, and went to work for the Wanzer sewing machine company to build their own lamps. So this would have been 1890s. And when I saw this, I found this attachment for it. And I immediately knew it was a cooker attachment. I've seen this on a different brand. So I searched the web high and low, and I found this image there that on the web that came from some sort of a magazine in the 1890s, some sort of I think it was a logging magazine, a trade magazine. So this would have been sent to logging camp. So there's a cooker. So I think the cooker is going to be this tripod piece. Plus, it looks like they have some sort of a cooking device that sits on top. I mean, finding that would be like impossible, but supposedly you could have light and cook your food and go away and come back and it would do it. So I don't know anything about these lamps. So taking it apart, I had to be very gentle. The key has been replaced, but they did a really nice job, but the key was threaded. I thought it pushed on. So I hit it with some oil and eventually it just came loose. I pulled the motor mechanism out of it, took the bottom plate off via 2 screws, and it's actually galvanized steel. I didn't know they did that back in the 1890s. So it's a pretty neat design. There is basically like a cast iron pot in the middle where the oil sits, and then you see there's a gap on the outside. The air blows up between the outer font and the inner cast kerosene holder, I guess. Anyway, this thing is pretty much as I found it. There was a really huge dent there. I pushed a little bit of it out by hand with a wood dowel, but this thing's going to need to be replated and some tin work done on it, and that's beyond my scope. So I'm basically just going to get it going. I took the mechanism out and oiled it with my lamp oil. It's been running for about an hour now. It was wound all the way to the top. So I'm going to unwind it completely, probably spray it again with a bit of cleaner, and then re-oil it with, I use clock oil, and it should run fine. The wick riser sits on like this, threads in the top, of course, and then there has this finishing cap on here. Now this is in my cleanup tray, so it's got some oven cleaner on it to start to get some of the carbon off it, clean it up. Has some dents on it, but I think I'm just going to leave it alone because it's really thick brass, nickel plate brass. I don't want to play with it. So do no harm, as they say in the lamp collecting and restoration business. So anyway, I'm just going to finish this thing off, clean it up, and I might run it, I may not. Haven't decided yet, but anyhow, it's a really well put together unit. Just one big mainspring on it. It is literally a clock. Minus the escape or the release mechanism for timing. So if you put an escape wheel on here, you could convert this into a clock of some variety, or at least make it tick. But it's pretty neat. So that's the top of it. I'm just kind of hard to do two things at once here. So I want to get a nicer picture of it here. Anyhow, it just breathes right up the bottom through that bottom hole, and it's doing its thing, you know. I don't know, 130 years later, this thing is a survivor. Doesn't look like it's really had any restoration work done to it. All the points where, you know, the shafts pivot look to be original. They don't seem to be replaced with, I forget the term that they use for clocks for those, but you know, the bearings, the bushings, the jewels, you get the idea. They, you know, maybe, I'm not sure if the one on the left there has been redone. I have no idea. This is the first one I've seen. So, but anyhow, I hope you enjoyed this week's video, and you know, give me a few weeks, I'll get it running, and we'll see how it compares to later model kerosene lamps. Well, have yourselves a great day.